I'm back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a one-man episode. Oh, shit, George is here. My bad. I know y'all miss me. Calm down. It's all good.
It was like he was gone? Yeah. I saw him
black dudes.
I saw him last week.
They all look alike. It's crazy. Except I don't wear glasses. Anyway, welcome back to the Mancave Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. George, what are we getting into today? We got some juicy shit, right?
Yeah, we got Andrew Schulz straight up embarrassing the Shxts and Gigs. Is that what they're called?
Yes, Shxts and Gigs.
Shxts and Gigs podcast, straight up embarrassing them. And Andrew Schulz is also facing some backlash. And
backlash.
Yeah, the same people that don't like his jokes are not gonna like that one. So we're gonna dissect that, him setting them up and just really outright embarrassing them is kind of crazy work. But it's also not the first time that he's done it. He tried to do it to Yachty too, but and then after that, we're gonna get into like an advice little segment. Yeah, try to help some people out of some of the problems that they're going through.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting that you brought that up because before talking to you today, I hadn't thought of Andrew setting people up in a sense. Why do you say that he's setting them up?
Because he's an entertainer and a podcaster. Podcasting and clicks, right? Views, right? I did it. I do it here all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't got the same growth and scale that he got. But I do it all the time. I did it with Gravin when she was here. What was the first question I asked Gravin when she was here? Our first female guest. Name me a top 3 favorite comedians. Why? Because I knew she was going to name 3 men.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fucking gotcha. You're not even supporting female comedians. It's just for the clicks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? So it's like when you're at that level of entertainment and you're podcasting, what do people love more? Fucking gossip.
Yep.
Right? Yep. That sells better than anything.
Yep. And Andrew is a professional comedian.
Yeah.
So he knows that the more people are chattering online about him and all this shit and getting them in news articles, that only helps to sell out his next fucking act because people who follow comedians don't care about them getting canceled. No. If anything, it's like, oh, well, now I got to hear what the fuck he's talking about is he's getting canceled.
Yeah, they're mad at him now, so it must have been a good joke.
Exactly. It's no different. Like Dave Chappelle went through his shit and he's still Dave Chappelle. It's
funny you were thinking that or say that because I was thinking about that earlier today. It's like the same people that would get mad at Andrew Schulz for saying a joke are the same people that would get mad at Dave Chappelle for saying the same joke even. But there is a difference, right? There's the black guy versus the white guy.
Is Andrew Schulz Jewish?
I have no idea. Okay. He might be.
I think he is.
He has money, so maybe.
Oh my! No, not doing that.
I can't do it.
Not doing that. Nope, not doing that. George apologizes.
Sorry. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. But yeah, what is Andrew Schulz getting? You said he's getting shit right now.
Yeah,
online.
Primarily black women.
Okay, because he made. Okay, so for people who don't know, there's this podcast called Shxts and Gigs, and they're not comedians necessarily, but I guess they're kind of like us, regular guys who just, shooting the shit, laughing at stuff. I think they do a lot of their shit from like Reddit and some other stuff that they pull from the internet.
Okay.
And basically they went on to Flagrant. This is like months ago at this point. Right? They went on Flagrant and...
Was it that long ago? Because this shit's blowing up now.
Yeah, but that's because of the shit that's circulating on the internet.
Okay.
But anyway, he went on Flagrant a while ago and Andrew Schulz made some like tasteless comments.
I have the clip of
let's see it. Because
what is causing the heated, the backlash or blacklash, as I said earlier.
The blacklash. That's hilarious.
What is the black girlfriend effect?
You don't know about
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut. Shape up.
So it's actually the black wife effect. It's not even the black girlfriend effect.
Yeah, it's the black wife.
They fucked that already. You fucked up multiple times in the clip.
3 seconds in.
Oh, man.
I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard because there's more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of them. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Yeah. Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite? We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really? We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
That means white.
Hey, let me get a U.S. translation.
Kendrick fans, get them!
Kendrick fans.
So that's the joke at hand, right? It's the setup of the black girlfriend effect. You know, anybody that dates a black girl is going to be dealing with stress, domestic violence, right? And then he set them up with who do you like more, dating white girls or dating black girls, and they took their laugh as the answer being white girls. So yeah, black women everywhere are super disappointed in these two because they're like, well, damn, you can't even like defend us. Like we're
selling out your shows.
Yeah, like we're your demographic, we're your community that goes and puts money in your pocket to support you. And then when you get on the show, you don't even back us up.
No, facts.
So I'm eager to hear your thoughts because in this lighting, I think you're a black man.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say?
Don't you ever talk about
There you go. Tell him.
Bro. Like, no, like I'll say straight up, if Akash and Andrew Schulz are dunking on black women, right? And it's me and let's say Eric on the couch. One of us has to take a stand because we can't let both of them dunk because now it's too much. Like, y'all going crazy. Neither one of y'all have probably actually. I think Andrew Schulz has dated black women in the past.
I don't know. People obviously because of the comments is like, well, who hurt him?
Yeah.
A black girl must have fucked him up and was like, ew, motherfucker, nobody wants you.
And it's funny you said that. Well, I'll touch on that later. But I think the whole shit is just stupid because they had the opportunity. If they really felt some kind of way, they had the opportunity 3 times to be like, bruh, like black women ain't like that.
Yeah.
Like this stereotypical shit that y'all on, like that. Or he could have spent it like, nah, actually, white women are the ones that blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like he could have went back and forth and then it would have been funny. It could have stayed within the context of the podcast and then everybody would have been happy. But they clearly didn't have a problem with it or didn't have the balls to say something.
Balls is where I'm going to call it. And also just not the talent to do it. They were sitting there with what we said is already a professional comedian. 2. Throw Bill Burr on that chair.
He's going to fry the shit.
It's going to cook him. Especially one, he's married to a black woman.
Yes.
And Bill Burr just has the talent, the know-how, the craftsmanship to just fucking kill him.
You or I could
easily. It's an easy back and forth. I mean, tell Andrew Schulz that he had a black girl, his haircut would make more sense.
And he would look like
or just look better. That haircut is fucking crazy. That's the white girlfriend effect, I guess, is just get whatever you want, babe. Yeah. And then he come out looking like that.
Bro, oh man. When I was on vacation, I got fucked up the last night and I just spent all night throwing up. So every time I laugh, like all of this shit just fucking hurts. So it was like reminding me, holy shit. But that's a fucking great point, bro. Like, and I think that's what they are suffering from now is just not having the poise to take a stand. Like if all my clients in real estate are women, there's no way in hell I would let somebody dog women financially to me. I'm like, bro, 90% of my business is fucking women. So what are you talking about? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, and I think maybe they're a little out of touch with how the comedy space works because Andrew also made a point. He was like, bro, if you're going to be here, you don't go back and apologize. Like, if anything, y'all should have just doubled down and said, fuck it, because you already fucked up. You're not winning them back. That ship has sailed. You can apologize all you want. They're not coming back. They already made their mind up. If you've never been in a room with a woman, you piss her off to that extent, you might as well pack your shit and be the fuck out. Apologize if you want, but they ain't coming back. Sorry to say. And that just goes for women in general. But that was a pretty hard hit to their brand.
Oh, for sure. But like I said earlier, there's a clip. I really couldn't fucking find it, but he tries to set up Yachty as well. And I forget what the conversation really was, but Yachty started talking about like women, I think Andrew Schulz asked him, like, what kind of girls are you into?
I think I remember this actually.
And Yachty was like, oh, I love black women.
Yeah.
Like black, like dark black women, like I love them.
Yeah.
And Schulz is like, bro, you could be honest here. You don't have to say that.
Right.
And he's like, no, I love black women. Like, that's like, I truly love them. And Andrew Schulz is making more jokes, almost like that's like, he's just saying that for the camera. There's no way on earth.
Right.
No one could love a black woman is basically how he's like trying to spin the joke. But people are like, no, Yachty caught on with the little setup that he's trying to do and just didn't bite the hook.
And even if he didn't, like, why are you going to let somebody dog your shit? Like, Yachty black as hell.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't like black women, I would think something's fucking wrong with him. Your mama's black, obviously.
Right. That's called trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like, nah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. My mama beat the shit like
right.
Nah, we're not doing that.
Did you have the clip here? Is that the one that's in the link for him dogging their apology video too?
Yeah, because
that just takes the embarrassment even further.
Oh my God.
Not only did you set these motherfuckers up to just like lose their whole fan base, but then when they dropped the apology video, you comment on the apology video and dog them for it on your show after you set them up. So that's even crazier. But let's watch that shit.
Person. That
George got some X-rated stuff popping.
Yeah, my bad, bro. That's my fucking, TikTok. What is this? What did I click?
You didn't click the right damn thing. I got to do everything.
Oh, the problem with buying a house is that's what we're doing later, guys. That's another link.
Oh man.
We don't.
All right. We get it. So here's the thing. Listen, I do have empathy for what they're going through. They're young into this content game.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what happens with a lot of people who are like funny on the internet, but they're not comedians. Yeah. So they are still concerned about cancellation. I think comedians, we understand that being funny is saying inappropriate things. Yeah. Sometimes that thing that's inappropriate is something about you. Sometimes it's about other people. But the nature of being funny is something inappropriate happening. Yeah. Right? And I think what they're doing, what they don't realize is because they're young in the game, and we've all went through this. It's like scary in the beginning. You really think you're going to be canceled. You're worried. I'm sure that they have, people that they have to take care of, and they're like, uh-oh, what if I have to go back and I have to get a regular job? Is it all over? I completely have empathy for that. I get that. What they don't realize is by apologizing, you're just amplifying it. Yeah. The people that are upset at this, the majority of them don't even listen to the podcast. A lot of them are probably resentful of your success. And they're like, why the...
Yo, we don't...
All right.
Andrew just said something that I feel like is super fucked up. Like, so you know the position they're in coming into the show.
Yeah.
You know the position they're in.
Yeah.
And you're still okay with baiting them to get them to bite on this fucking joke that could potentially end them.
Yeah, but that's not his responsibility.
That's true.
This is a show.
That's true.
We're putting on a show.
That's true. His job is to be the comedian.
Yeah,
that's true.
Be polarizing.
That's true.
Right?
That's
if I set you up and you took it and you didn't know how to handle it, that's not on me.
That's true.
You came on this show knowing the type of comedy that we do, type of comedian that I am.
Yeah.
That's no fucking
that's
secret.
True. It's called Flagrant.
Yeah.
For a reason. Yeah.
There's no secret of what the show is and who Andrew Schulz is and the jokes that he does. You showing up unprepared.
Yeah.
That's not his fault.
That's true. That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
How you handled it is 100% your fault.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I don't fuck with is Andrew Schulz embarrassing them by them dropping the apology video and then him just being like, well, that was weak. You know what I mean? Like, you know what they're going through. Because this was on the show as well. Chime pod. Let me go ahead and mute the Chime ad. I'm not sponsored.
Not today.
Oh, another ad. Donuts. Organize the donuts. This is fucking crazy work, man.
Sometimes that's good.
Oh, that's Yachty. I'm all over the place.
George is nervous.
I don't want to get canceled, right?
Too late for that. First 15 fucking seconds.
Okay. Matter of fact, we have a new apology video that we should definitely watch. The Shxts and Gigs gentlemen came on the podcast.
I love them.
I love them.
I feel bad they're going through this.
Yeah, but actually I do want to take this seriously because they are serious guys, and I'll stop fucking laughing, dude. They're defending their community. They came on the podcast. They got a lot of flack for laughing at a joke, and I would just want to hear their apology. These are serious fucking guys, and this is a serious apology. Ow.
Yeah, even he knows. Like,
Seriously?
All right, sure.
Okay. I don't. Shifty?
Nothing of what he said is authentic. He's saying it to clown them further.
Everybody to just take this serious, and I want us to try to have a serious moment. It's a serious podcast, and I want to just listen to their heartfelt apology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, before we get into today's episode, quick PSA, quick acknowledgement. So, if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine.
look at his
but
face.
we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Frankly, like racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse.
Pause.
There is no excuse.
Agreed.
Pause.
There's no excuse.
There's no fucking excuse. Ow.
And
Can you pause? There's no excuse for that. I just want to take in the beginning of it. There's no excuse for jokes. There is never an excuse for making jokes.
But can we try?
I'm not going to ever make an excuse for being a comedian. There's never an excuse for making jokes. Okay? That is a real statement said by a man. I just want that to be clear. There is never an excuse for making jokes with the boys. Go on. Let's take it serious.
Yeah, so I mean, 30 seconds into their apology video, and he's, clowning them.
They're actually getting dogged online for that too. They're like, damn, y'all didn't even defend us when you were on this podcast. And then you go on the podcast and they're dunking on you for apologizing.
Yeah. So it just takes it even fucking further.
Oh, damn. They can't win for losing.
No.
Sheesh.
I don't blame Andrew Schulz.
Nah, to your point, he's a comedian. So
I think they handled it poorly. I think even in the end, there's another clip, I'm not going to pull it up, where Andrew Schulz was like, at the end of that recording session, the two gentlemen asked them to take some shit out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Andrew was like, well, you didn't fucking tell us to take that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to.
Yeah.
If you told us to take the other shit out and you was like, and now in your apology video, you're saying that in the moment you knew it was wrong, but after we were done recording and you had the list of shit that you wanted us to take out, that wasn't on your list, you didn't fucking see any problem with it.
Bro, I'm not like a body language expert or one of those CIA people you watch online. It says, oh, CIA expert reacts to whatever. You could see in their video, they were genuinely laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Like the dark skinned guy, I think his name is Fuhad, he was cracking the fuck up.
Yeah.
So, like,
they to Andrew Schultz's point, they should have just been like, yo, we see this shit is cycling out. That was a joke.
Yeah.
If you got offended, sorry that you felt that way. We were just in the moment. He said a joke. He's a comedian. It's a comedy podcast. We laughed. That we're just going to leave it at that. We're not going to really throw any more fire or gas on that fire.
Right.
Like he said, say in the apology video, you're backpedaling. You're saying that, you're trying to put blame on something, right? It's like, oh, you're like, oh, this was our fault. No. It's his fault. It's like, not a good play.
I thought we were past the
apologies.
The canceling shit. Like, cause
did you tell black women that?
No. But I think the conversation that I had with my wife was basically like, because I like Andrew Schulz. I think he's hilarious. And the thing is, as a comedian, it's not like he's constantly punching down on them. Like, he talks about everybody, fucking body, which I'm cool with. If it was like every time you get on stage, black women this, black women that. All right, I'm like, bro, like, all right, this is a bit much. Like, mix up your material at this point. Yeah. But he talks about everybody. And even if he didn't, it's an option to just turn that shit off. Go watch something else. Like, it's all this, like, I'm outraged. Like, it's exhausting. We went through 3 years of that. Yeah. Like, 2020 sparked the most cancellation shit I've ever seen. We can just move on. Like, if you don't like the Shxts and Gigs and what they did, you can just move on. You don't have to watch them anymore. You don't have to go to their shows. And I think the thing that's really going to happen is like people are just going to forget this shit even happened. And to Andrew Schulz's point, you should have just let it go. Just let it play out, move on, or switch your demographic up. Because if men haven't realized at this point, you can't cater to a crowd you don't fully understand. Mm-hmm. Look at Matt Rife. All his women and his shows as a comedian or in that comedic space, you can't cater to women. Like our jokes as men are just different. Mm-hmm. Even like when we're not comedians, the way you and I joke with each other, we wouldn't joke with our wives like that.
Oh, not at all.
Like it wouldn't land the same. No. So like when Matt Rife got up on the stage and made the joke about a domestic or whatever, how did you think that was going to land?
Yeah.
It wasn't. So like men in that space have to understand, like, bro, if you're going to make jokes or you're going to entertain these type of things, you have to figure out if you're willing to risk it all. And if that's the case, sure, keep trying to play the women and hope that they'll buy your shit. But if not, you can pivot. Men do like comedy. Men do consume content regularly. Even though, they get a little angry on our show. they do watch.
Yeah. So call it at that. I hope everything works out for those two motherfuckers. Andrew Schulz is going to be just fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's already made it.
Yeah. So now we're going to switch up, do the advice segment. So I went on like Reddit, pulled some people asking for help.
Are you going through something though? What made you want to do this? Like we never do this on the show. What's going on?
Yeah, just for the funsies.
Okay. Giving the life advice is fun. Holy shit! I would have never thought that.
Because who the fuck are we?
Well, you know what's funny? I was talking to Abby last night, and because I was looking for stuff on TikTok, like Reddit, whatever, like people looking for life advice, and somebody was like, "Yeah, man, there's no more middle class. You're either rich or poor." And I was looking at her like, well, we ain't poor, so what the fuck? She was like, we rich. And I'm like, yeah.
If it's not one, it's the other.
I'm like, I don't think so, but all right. So you and I are not poor. So if we rich, hey, maybe we can give life advice.
Hey, I guess so. I guess we on the right track.
Hey, listen, it reminds me of your boy that you sending me on TikTok, the motivational speaker.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, hilarious.
So I had some shit on here. Nothing too crazy, just stuff that I thought might be light.
Okay.
In my search, there are some people going through some real shit that I'm just like,
you're laughing.
You're going to the only thing is because I'm like, you're doing this on Reddit. You're going to Reddit talking about some serious shit that you're going through. Maybe go get help in real life.
Yeah.
But I picked this one because it's like, I resonate with this one. I think I might quit my job and my job fast, but I'm not sure. And he goes, here's the thing. I work in a specialized department in a supermarket, charcuterie, but it's no fun. I think about quitting for good now, but I never did. There are many reasons. My boss is scaring the shit out of me. My schedules are always shit. I work part-time, but super long shifts. The job itself is gross. The place is very noisy, which isn't good for my sensory issues. I can't sit except during my break, and it requires a lot of social interaction constantly, which I'm not good at. The only thing that makes me stay is the friends I've made by my coworkers. Also, I am in college and I easily work 4 days a week, which is too much. I'm starting to lose balance on school and work. Yeah. I don't have time to do my lectures or my homework, but I do need a job. I have insurance to pay off, gas, and a bike. I want to quit so bad. I'm sick of the job. Any opinions?
Well, yeah, nobody's more qualified than you on this. Motherfucker started out with quitting his job. You quit 12 in the last year, so have at it.
I don't see a problem with quitting a job. If it's not for you, you don't feel comfortable there. You can't see yourself going to work, doing the work, and coming home and being okay. And if you're constantly waking up dreading going to work, it's not a place that you want to be.
But you don't think it's a little different because you're a well-established man. You've got a home. You've got a family to fall back on.
I guess.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop me from quitting all these jobs. Right?
That's true, actually.
But the only thing that you need to do is just line some other shit up before you dip, and always make sure that the shit you lined up is better than what you just left. Never go backwards.
Right.
So if you start a job at, let's just say that this guy works part-time, $11 an hour at the supermarket, right? Let's line something up where you make $11.75.
Yeah.
Right.
Move up.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't accept a job where you're making $8.50. Now you're going backwards. You're losing money, and the job probably isn't that much better.
Yeah. And there's a lag period from you leaving that job, starting a new one.
So for anybody that is always thinking about quitting a job, go for it. Quit the job. It's not for you. You don't like it. Line some shit up that's going to elevate you from where you are.
Yeah.
Use the skills that you developed in this other job. Tweak it a little, make it sound a little better, right? And then just present it to the next place. Get some skills there. And if you don't like that one, just find some shit. I'm all on board on hopping from place to place. But always make sure you're employed, and always make sure that it's better than where you left financially and everything else that you're looking for.
Bro, I mean, this person sounds young. I can't really give advice on getting a job. I don't
been doing the same shit
for fucking almost a decade at this point. But bro, is it just me, or does it seem like everybody has some sort of like mental health
That's it, all over the place.
Like,
yeah.
Bro, I was talking about sensory issues. I didn't know somebody in their 20s could have sensory issues unless they were like on the spectrum or something. And then that obviously makes sense. But like,
I don't know. I've been hearing it a lot more. My concern is, and this is again not to the people who are on the spectrum, is that people are just using it for sympathy points. And it's like, I can't do this because of my sensory issues.
Okay.
If like, well, I'm not really 100% sure unless you've been actually diagnosed that you have sensory issues. You're just using that as an excuse because people who do have sensory issues get treated better.
Yeah.
Have special treatment.
I wouldn't say better, maybe differently. Sure.
Well, they might be able to get away with more stuff, right?
Yeah,
They might work
true.
less.
That's true.
Like, he's on the spectrum. But my concern again is that people are just using that shit as a get out of jail free card.
And the crazy thing is, if you have mental health issues and you firmly believe that you do, you can convince any doctor in the world.
Yeah.
Like they can give you as many tests as they want. If you believe that you can't see, then you're going to fucking pick the wrong letter every time they show you the board.
So yeah, that was one of the stuff. I know you wanted to talk about.
No, we could talk. You got another one? We can talk about that one last because I feel like
this is a fun one.
Yeah.
My boyfriend made me pay the tip at dinner.
Oh, this should be good.
So backstory, my boyfriend, 20, who has more money than any other college study I know, including myself, is very strict and cheap with his money. We never go out to eat. When we do, it's usually after I've asked for months. When we do, it feels forced and unnatural because I know how much he hates going out to eat because it costs money. Anyway, he plans this great night and surprised me with dinner at a nice restaurant, and everything was going well until he says, "Can you Venmo me for the tip? Because, I ain't leaving that tip. In Europe, they don't tip, so why do I have to do it here?" Disclaimer, we are both American. The rest of the night felt off because that poor waitress was about to get no tip if it wasn't for me. I have not spoken to him since because I feel so different about him. I was hoping this date would change my feelings, but it made them worse. Am I selfish? Should I be feeling this way? Disclaimer, I am more upset he was not going to leave a tip to that worker. She would have walked away with $0 for our dinner. I love helping out financially as I am comfortable, but how much money I have is how much money I have. It's just the date was to take me out was a surprise. So we have this lady who's complaining about her boyfriend is hard with his cash, doesn't want to go out. She has to beg him to go out. And then when they did, he was like, "You want to send me the tip? Because I'm not about to do that."
Bro, this is for men and women. Please stop dating people that you are not aligned with.
Yep.
If the guy doesn't like spending money going out, be with somebody who likes to spend money and go out. If that's not available, then don't be in a fucking relationship. Like, I don't know what this thing is where people get in these situations and then they feel trapped because this person doesn't want to do what they want them to do. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Somebody, I saw one of the comments that was like, "Well, you're not married. Why are you acting like you have to be there? If you don't like the way he handles himself or handles his money and that's not for you, walk away."
He's in college. He's trying to save money.
Yeah.
Eating out is expensive. What the fuck are we talking about?
So that dude's just not for you. Also, if you really want to go out that bad, just be like, "I'll cover it."
Exactly.
Like, if you really want, like, "Oh, I need to go out," and he's like, "Look, I'm saving my bread," you just be like, "All right, just come with me. I got it." And if he's cool with it, which a lot of guys might just be like, all right, fuck it. When we get there, let me handle it.
Yeah.
But if he's all right with you covering the check and you all right with covering the check because you need to go out that bad, then just manage it that way. Not really a hard situation.
Exactly. At the very least, he paid the bill.
Right.
Which let the internet tell it, men aren't even doing that anymore. So the least you could have did was pay the tip. In this situation, like if you're not confident enough to leave him and then be with somebody who's more aligned with what you want in a social environment, social setting, whatever, then compromise. Because that's clearly what you're doing. You're giving up your comfortability for his, what you want to call frugalness or cheapness. And that to me doesn't make sense, because once y'all are married and you have kids, if you want your kids to have nice clothes or you want to take them to Disney World or whatever, he might be like, man, I feel like that's a waste of money. And now you're even more pissed because you can't give your kids the thing that you think you want them to have.
Yeah.
Because your husband's not aligned.
Yep.
So now you just in a downward spiral where you start resenting each other, and that shit always ends poorly. I don't care who you are.
Valid.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
point.
that's my psychology degree coming into play. You know, I just.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so that was really about it. I had those two. I thought those might be fun conversations.
No, that was dope. Actually, I'm so proud of you. You really handled.
Well, you went on vacation. I was like, let me let Larry be on vacation.
You handled this so well,
and let me plan the episode because I know he just got back.
And
so don't get used to it.
Oh, but yeah, another popular thing on the internet is people talking about how millennials or younger people in this country, America that we live in, can't buy homes anymore. And if you've been on the internet, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, you can see that there's clearly a conversation Jesus, along the way. I just can't win. There's clearly a conversation happening in these settings where people are either on the side of, you can buy a house if you just save money and cancel your Netflix subscription, or you can't buy a house because the cost of things are just too expensive and you aren't making enough money. So there's a video we have here, and we can kind of like have a conversation because, I'm in the business. So like I clearly can see one side of it, but then you have friends who haven't yet bought houses. So I'm curious to see what, how you feel about it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Listen, every generation comes and wants to do better than their parents did. Every generation. But I'm sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house.
Whoopi Goldberg, let me help you here. The real reason why many millennials cannot afford to have children or buy a home is because your generation effed up the economy and handed it to us on a not-so-silver platter. For an example, let's take 1993, the year I was born. A modest home that cost $100,000 in 1993 now costs a whopping $225,000. And no, wages have not kept up with that rate of inflation. So millennials are not lazy. In fact, they are having to work more hours than your generation did to afford basic housing. And the cost of childcare has nearly tripled since the 90s. So us millennials are up against a completely unfair economy and having to work harder to attain and maintain the American dream.
Yep, she's right. And Whoopi, of course, she's old school, right? Yes. And everybody from her generation just loves to throw the lazy card at our generation, which in reality we are working 3 times harder than they worked.
Yeah.
For less.
Yeah.
For less shit. I was actually talking to my wife like a couple weeks ago, because like I have a pretty good job. She has a good job. I have like my side gig and everything that we're doing. So like on paper, we should be really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, we are fucking busting our ass. And I feel like we still just like kind of it's like at any moment, like the thread can like, and it all goes to fucking shambles.
Right.
And I'm like, did the older generation have to fucking deal with this? I can just imagine in the 90s, if you had your wife who was working a good job, your husband was working a good job, and he was working on the side getting some extra bread in, y'all are fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Now we're just like fucking tired and broke.
Right.
So I understand what this woman is saying.
Yeah.
And to your point, like my friends, like I have friends, like you said, that don't have a house, but they also unlike Whoopi is saying, don't work 4 hours. They have full-time jobs. They have 40, 50 hours. I know they're putting heavy OT and still don't have the money because one, they're single, right? Yeah. And to be single and try to buy a house in this market is fucking psychotic if you have a regular job, unless you're out here making millions. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you're in the field, you see it firsthand. What is your experience with people trying to buy houses in this market?
So I think two things have to happen. The first thing is people have to stop telling themselves, I can't do it. Like if you firmly believe you can't do something, you will never be able to do it. I think that has to happen by you getting the education behind it. Like, so sitting and talking to people who have done it, or like professionals like myself who can teach you how to go about it, will basically lay out a plan for you so that you can get to that point. The other thing is the price of shit has to come down. I think gas is just finally starting to get under control, but of course the election's around the corner. So that makes sense as now like at $3 or less than $3 here in PA. And the cost of rent is astronomical. Here in Philly is astronomical. I don't know about everywhere else, but like I think the cost of a 1-bedroom apartment could be anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,400 a month. If people are making $40,000 a year, that's basically half your check. Mm-hmm. And then you got to pay car insurance, your car note, all of that shit. So yeah, basically you're breaking even. So I think if you're in that situation, either stay at home for a couple months or whatever, stack your bread, and then make a move to buy a house, which most people either don't have the option or don't want to do that. I get it. Or you get a roommate. Get a 2-bedroom for $1,500. Now you splitting it $750. You save yourself $500-$600 a month. Like you got to get uncomfortable and get creative and try to like finesse the situation.
Well, you don't work harder than when you have something to lose. It's like if you don't work harder than when you have something to lose.
Exactly.
So if you put yourself in that situation where you're like, all right, now I have some real responsibility.
Yeah.
You're going to be grinding.
Yeah.
And if you have the thought process like you and I, where like failure is not an option,
right?
You're going to work and you will be in a better place.
Exactly.
Because you will not allow yourself to fail.
Exactly. So. Yeah, bro. If it's either like, oh, you got to stay with your meemaw who's going to feed you salami cheese sandwiches every morning, and the house smells like cat piss, I guarantee you within a year, you have $10,000 saved to get the fuck out of there. Promise you.
You know what I did? It's kind of interesting because I don't know why I was reading some shit online, but this conversation is probably because of the election, was talking about like Vance. JD Vance talking about if you can't afford childcare, like this lady said, it's 3 times more expensive than the 90s, then, why don't you ask your grandparents to kind of help out? Right. Which is a shitty response. If you can't, because grandparents, because everything's so expensive, are also working.
Some of them working. Yeah.
So shitty response. But I saw a bunch of comments from people from other countries that was like, why is it such in American culture to not live with your parents or anything anymore? It's like everybody wants to get up and go as quickly as possible, where people are like, oh, here in like Ireland or whatever, like we are a big family, but we still live under the same house, and it's okay. It's not viewed as like weak. It's not viewed as like you failed because you live with your parents, or your parents live with you, or your grandparents are still here. It's very much American culture where it's like, you got to be on your own.
Yeah.
You have to detach from your parents.
Yeah.
Where other countries are like, you don't need to do that.
Well, it's because here we have a more like an individualistic mindset. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying that. Like that's something that they teach you when you have to work with people from other countries, like a big corporation. Like my wife's job, for example, she has to work with people in Asia or
she makes money. She working with Asia.
I ain't pocket watching, but
nah, I'm fucking with you.
But I'm saying, but yeah, like if you work with people in other countries, they have a different mindset about family. They have a different mindset about business. It's more collaborative. Like people in Asian cultures, from my understanding, they will live with their parents until they get married and then move out. And even then, like the parents will come and help raise the kids so that you're not paying $4,000 a month for daycare. Yeah. Like where in, our situation, I can speak to like, black families. It's like when you turn 18, get out. Like that's it. Like that's what it is. Yep. Either you're going to college, you're going to the military, or you're going to get your own fucking place. That's what it is. And I think it's like that pull yourself up by the bootstraps shit that we got to keep hearing every time something's not working in our favor. And people are like, oh, just go get it out the mud.
Yeah.
That's corny to me.
Yeah. That's just bad parenting. if your kid is 18,
right,
and they don't have the state of mind where they can be responsible,
Right.
get a job,
Right.
and the only way that you can have them grow is by kicking them out of the house and forcing them onto the street, like sink or swim scenario, it's bad parenting.
Your kids should be ready to take on the world when they leave your house, not like drowning in the fact that they can't make ends meet.
Yeah.
Like that to me is crazy. And I think what we have to do to try and combat that is understand that the world is different than it was in the 1950s and 60s. Like shit is way more expensive now. It just is. People were making what, $3, $4 an hour. And it just now in the last 2 or 3 years, we've got a bump in minimum wage. If you're making $15 an hour, you're still struggling trying to rent an apartment by yourself. So there's nothing wrong with telling your family like, yo, I need help. There's nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, if your family can help you, great, lean on them. If not, then yeah, you got to get a little creative, but stop taking this mindset of like, oh, it can't be me. Cause it can be.
Yeah.
Both Georgia and I have made something out of ourselves, and we ain't had the greatest situation, for us to play out, even though to George's point, I didn't have a dad. I'm just going to say that before he can fucking use it. So,
you get real good at something when people just start saying it to themselves.
Listen, I don't care. I'm taking the B rabbit approach. I'm going to use the material against myself so that you can't use it against me. All right, Papa Doc.
I appreciate it. I respect it.
Yeah.
All right, look. Let's close out the episode. Larry, it's good having you back. I missed you. I hope you enjoyed your vacation away for your anniversary again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But it's time to get back to work. We got some real shit planned moving forward. Larry, like we said, he said, get creative if you want to succeed, and we about to get creative.
Yes, we are.
All right.
My boy.
Nope, not going to happen.
All right.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
See y'all next week.
Bye.